And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK Show, and this is going to be episode 469. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK Show, we have no topics tonight, but we're going to have our usual fun guy bro conversations that you guys all know and love, and that you enjoy with the fiery passion that comes from my intellectual brain of more than 200 IQ, actually. And tonight, we don't have Bob Loves Movies because he said he wasn't going to be on the show this Monday. So I went to my back pocket and reached out Vaughn Coleman, who is our guest tonight. So Vaughn's here. Good Lord. And I can, see him later on this year at Vegas whenever that happens.
Well, I'm not even sure if I can, because the time of year, because it's right after, from what I've heard, it's the first week of August, right?
Oh, for me, that's better. April last year was terrible. People understand Easter weekend for my job. Easter, just the week itself, leading into it, and the weekend is the worst possible time. That's why I can understand why they pushed it, because that is the absolute worst time to schedule an event on Easter weekend. That's just, that's also going to suck too, because the people that could come out on Easter weekend now potentially can't because they have other work related reasons going on too. So good Lord, man. But you heard it's going to be the first week of August.
Yeah, well, I had heard. Well, one of the reasons why I wouldn't be able to do that. So Bell County, and then is the first weekend of August.
Ooh, that sucks. God damn it. So are you saying we're not going to have the MSK and Vaughn Coleman team up, world's finest? This year,
it depends because there's Bell County, and then the following weekend I have to be in Connecticut. So I don't know.
That's impossible. You literally would only be in these if you went to Vegas, you'd only be out there for a couple of days, and then you'd have to just not even a day, maybe just only be out there for a day, leave, fly back to another. That's just not worth it, honestly, unless you simply just axe one out. And you just kind of pick one.
My favorite convention is Terrificon, like my number one.
Yeah. So, well, guys. We'll see how it all ends up playing out. Will we have our epic world's finest team up happen this year? Who knows, actually. Everyone is always looking to meet MSK, the top G Riz Master, who gets all the ladies, actually. You know what? I did talk to a lady today. I brought her over, and we didn't do anything at all, but just I talk. Now, the problem with that was I was sitting there going like, you're in the back of your head when you're talking to a girl, there's nothing here, but in your mind, you thought there could have been something there. Not even anything like romantically. I'm talking about just banging each other. She just leaves, right? But I was starting to thinking to myself, she's talking, and I'm just like, there's no connection here. And then what's worse is that the hour she wanted to leave, she was like, oh, I could stay another hour. And I was like, fuck, now I got to start pulling teeth, actually. Holy crap. So, yeah, needless to say, won't be texting her ever again. I don't think she was she was actually a really nice lady, but I was like, lady, there's nothing here. I was like, you like anything? And she was like, well, I just like knitting. I was like, oh, fuck. Holy shit.
You dating my great aunt or something? Knitting?
Yeah.
Dude?
Yeah, no, she was like 51 or something like that. And
what?
I was like,
hang on, time out.
Oh, okay.
Time out.
Well,
MSK. 51?
That's what she said. She looked a little bit younger. I didn't know her age. She looked a little bit more younger. And I was
Bro,
like,
51 is hard not to notice that kind of even if she's a foxy 51.
I initially guessed 48, but she said no, it's 51. I was like, oh, okay.
Bro. So, all right.
Older women usually are, to be fair, her conversational skills were fine. She had some major problems that ended up happening to her, but she just wasn't a bad person. It's just like, what
happened to her? Did you do something?
No. Good Lord, man. Apparently she's married twice. Her ex, she thinks, hit her in the head, which caused her to be mega disabled to a certain degree. She's like functionally fine. It's just
that's terrible.
A lot of problemons.
At first I thought you were making this story up, but now it's too specific.
Wow.
Yeah, she's gonna apparently leave to go and try and get battle for her son. She has a custody battle going on with this other person, but
there's a lot going on, dude.
Yeah. Older women. That's why I don't want to date older women. They have so much baggage. Like older women have so much baggage.
Dude, you don't want to date any woman, no matter what.
They're only just good for sex. I'm sorry.
Younger women. You don't want to date older women. You don't want to date middle-aged women. You don't want to date. You don't want to date any woman.
Yeah, it's just bang and leave. That's all I need to do. I just need to just thrust and fuck, and that's it. There's nothing else.
To me, she's a younger woman, so.
No, she wasn't a bad person. It's just like, man, just because she had said, well, I didn't know they were gonna be this way when we got together. I was like, lady, that's what's called a honeymoon phase. A lot of people don't actually get this though. A honeymoon phase is basically like someone's not gonna initially show you who they are. And they're not even intentionally probably thinking about that either. This is things that just naturally happen over time. Like, a girl will say, well, I didn't know he, I don't know, like getting pegged in the ass when I first met him. Well, yeah, he's probably not going to reveal that. I don't know. Like, these things happen over time, But yeah, we'll do intros and then we'll talk. Oh, people in the chat are showing up. Oh my God. Vaughn, blink 3 times if you're being held hostage.
I did choose to come here instead of doing my own stream. And he messaged me and I was like, why not? I'm doing work anyway. That way I don't have to put in, I can put, but it's like MSK he just says shit. And it's like, you just have to go, all right, man.
Good Lord. Hi, Tony. How you doing, man? Miss K's trying to be a stepdad. No, she was like, do you mind if someone has a kid? I was like,
do you mind if someone has a kid?
No, I mean, I'm not raising kids. I wouldn't care. No,
it's 51. She might have grandkids, dude.
No, apparently she just had the one. And I told her, I was like, you know what? I'm not. I mean, I think I said I'm not raising him, so it doesn't really matter to me if you have a kid, right? Doesn't have any actual effect on me,
Well, I think normally when a girl says that they're looking for a man to step up.
Oh, yeah, a black man stepping up.
MSK defy stereotypes.
I love it.
The old saying is, "You're not a stepdad; you're the dad who stepped up." So
yeah, exactly, dude.
You get some Father's Day gifts. You could take them to a baseball game.
I will
teach them about girls. Well,
I don't know about that.
I'll teach you about girls, and then you can teach him about girls.
I'm a guy where I like to build my own legacy and not build off of someone else's legacy. That's my thing. I got to build my own kingdom and stuff, Mm-hmm. But if people want to inherit someone else's kingdoms, you can do that. I'm not against that personally. It's fine. It's just like not me. I'm not inheriting someone else's responsibilities like that. Not something I'm willing, even able to do, because it's like
MSK. Let's because we've heard a lot, and I just kind of want to unpack some things, buddy.
Unpack some.
All right, so what is your MSK? And you get God is like, all right, MSK. What is your ideal relationship? Your ideal woman? What do you say?
Oh, as far as like qualities in a woman, right?
Yeah, man.
Heartbeat, breathing, not in jail.
Okay, first of all, I would say not fat. You can't be fat because, I think women are based off their, like, this is going to sound kind of shallow, but we do kind of look at women for their
appearance. Everything you say sounds kind of shallow, so I'm used to it.
It's got a lot of surface level analogies to it, but there's a lot of, filling in there too. Women being fat is disgusting because we mostly look at girls to be attractive, right? And being fat is really not that attractive on girls. Like, guys can kind of pull it off a little bit. Women can't. It looks terrible on women, actually. I think if you're a girl and you're not pretty, that's an automatic L. That is horrible. What, like, most girls are getting talked to because they look attractive, right? So if they're not even looking pretty, then what the fuck's the point of you? Also, I don't know. Someone like a homebody wouldn't be that bad. Like if I had friends over and she was like, "Hey, do they want any food?" I would find those kind of qualities kind of cool. Like when your mom used to like offer your friends stuff when they would come over and they'd be like, "Oh my God, your mom is so cool." I've always liked that. That's a cool thing because that adds like nice little status to who you are as a guy. It's like, oh, your girl actually cares about people. Then again, I don't know. She can't be a lunatic. Like most girls are fucking retarded lunatics. Like they're completely insane. I have to do like a 6-month interview analyzing this girl every moment, every move she does, like Batman style in my brain,
And people really wonder why MSK is single. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know where is this?
Couldn't tell you.
Reason?
Could not.
Hearing that explanation, and I just want to let you know when you start describing your ideal words and the word "mom" comes out of your mouth. That's kind of creepy. So I think you might want to keep that one.
Okay, so let's step back if you don't mind. Just for a moment. Just for a moment, pal. Because I am concerned for your well-being sometimes. You know what I mean? Brother to brother, friend to friend.
Everything is okay. Don't worry.
MSK, I don't believe you. Here's what I will say though. Sorry, this is a lot. So your ideal, so you want to have children, yes or no?
No.
You don't.
I don't want to get married either, because there's no point in that shit. I don't see any point in getting married where you can just get everything you can get everything you want out of a girl without getting married, and you have no financial attachments to them.
Kids?
You can have that without getting married. You can have a kids with a girl without getting married.
MSK, this is not very base to you. I'm not going to be.
I'm just pointing out. I'm saying if people want to do that, it's fine. I'm not actually. People want to get married, that's fine. I'm just saying there's no benefit for me to get married because I could just have all that.
MSK, I want you to get married, bro.
Lord. Oh my God! If she's Batwoman, sure, and then she can just
Batwoman, the lesbian.
Hey, I love girls too. You know, I love eating out cake. Woo! All right, let's do intros really quickly. Old man Joe, how you doing, man?
Well, you know, I came into this chat thinking we were going to talk about Batman versus Superman, and now we're psychoanalyzing MSK's relationships and his wants and needs. I don't know. It kind of went off the rails there. But I do know one thing I can tell you about looks. There's an old saying is behind every hot woman is a dude who's tired of her crap. So
I live by that. Yeah.
You go after a woman. If you go after the hot women who know they're hot, a lot of times you run into some trouble because they know they're hot and they can be problems. And then the other thing about looks, if you judge everything in looks, they're going to lose them. Everybody loses their looks. At one time in life, I was not that bad looking of a dude. And now look at me. I look like Uncle Fester.
Back in the day,
so, you look like a good man.
Well, I thank you. I am a good man, but you know, I'm not going to lie. I look like Uncle Fester, you know, I look like Kingpin. I look like, you know, I don't know. You guys know Butterbean the boxer? I've had strangers tell me I look like Butterbean. So, you know, I really don't worry about all that stuff, but looks go away. Craziness stays. So no matter how good looking or how, now I actually been around women who were not attractive that were crazy.
Yeah, they seem to all have that.
Yeah, I don't think that like the hot crazy thing. I think like all women are crazy. We just notice it more with the hot ones because we kind of disregard.
Yeah,
well, I don't think they're all crazy, but you got to meet somebody, you got to talk to them, you get to know them, and then you know you got to figure it out because, like, a good friend of mine married a woman who turned out to be literally bipolar, like a medical disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talked to her when she was on her meds, she was great. She got off her meds. She was insane. So you really got to get to know somebody. And then his second wife is awesome. You know, she's normal. She's cool, you know, but everyone's got their hangups. But you're what? You said you're what, 30, MSK?
I'm 31. Yeah.
31. Yeah, you got a ways to go. And pretty soon you're going to run into a woman and you're going to really like her. And she's not going to be as good looking as you thought. And she might be a little not as... I don't know. She might not be
I will say, hey,
perfect as you want, and her body might not be what you want, but you're going to really like her, and you're going to want to be with her. And then that's when you know that
she's got to want me. Actually, I'm the prize here. She's got to want me. I'm the one with all the success.
Now we're not dealing reality.
Oh my God. No. Like, okay, I'll be fair here. And people like this as a traditional thing. I'll be fair. Why do we go after the girls if we're the ones that are providing all the things for them? If we're going to provide all this stuff for girls, why are we not the catch, though? Like, why aren't they coming after us?
MSK kind of speaking facts. Not gonna lie.
I'm just saying, well, you know, like we're also supposed to chase them. No, and that I get, that I understand, and I'm fine with doing it. But it's just like when the more I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, if we're gonna be doing all this, that, and the third for a woman, wouldn't they be chasing? Wouldn't we be the prize? Like we're the prize, right?
Well,
that's providing nothing.
Dude, women. All right, you gotta understand. One thing you gotta understand: women don't think that way. Women. Women, all right. So women, this is how women. When women say, "I shot my shot at this guy," women think putting their makeup on and standing at the bar and waiting to get hit on, and occasionally looking at a guy like and looking away. They think that is shooting their shot. That is how women They genuinely they'll talk about, "I shot my shot," and the way they shoot their shot is just standing nearby and expecting to get hit on.
Well, there's some nature to it.
Yeah.
Men are naturally providers. They're the hunter-gatherers. They're the ones who look to possess, basically.
Yeah. Wait, MSK, did you have
materials?
Biology class growing up? I'm just wondering.
But I'm just telling you, women.
I do, Bats. I do talk to literally every single one of them. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, as women are more caring, they're more giving. So men are more taking, women are more giving. And so men will be the more approachable one, where women, once they know you have they have a man within their sphere, so to speak, and there's trust, then they start giving.
Yeah.
They're not the type to go out and search. Now, this will probably get me canceled and people hate me because I'm probably sounding, well, women can do what they want. They can hit on guys.
That's how the feminist movement is. Well, women can do whatever they want now.
Well, they can. And I've known women who approach men. In fact, the good friend I was just talking about earlier, his wife approached him. So she just talked to him and she liked him and he was kind of sitting on his hands and finally said, hey, I like you. Why don't we go out? Years ago, I had a woman when I was working at a newspaper. I used to write a column and she liked me through my column writing and a little mugshot I had. And she actually called me and approached me to go on a date. So, I didn't know she existed. So I guess she had to do that. So, but yeah, that's what it is. And when you get older, MSK, one day you're going to meet a woman and she's going to knock you on your butt. Not literally, but you're going to like her.
Physically assault you. MSK.
Well, she might go in MSK's mouth. Someone might punch him.
That's a hate crime. I'm pulling the black card if she ever did that. I'm like, that's a hate crime. Right. You're going to jail.
And you're going to look at her and be like, well, she's not as pretty as I'd like. And her body's not as great. And she didn't dress quite the way I thought she would, but I can't stop thinking about her. And you'll make your move. You'll get there. Trust me.
I think so too. I think MSK is gonna find a girl that's gonna stump him, and he's gonna be, and I'm kind of excited for it.
Never will happen. Me as a top G Riz master, these things are not.
As a top G Riz master, you won't get a girl.
No, girls are overrated. I had more fun conversations with men. I just enjoy talking to men more. Well, men make me happy. Speaking of Vaughn, how was your day, Vaughn?
It's pretty good. I was hoping to launch my campaign, but life.
What happened with that? You're supposed to launch Phenomenal issue 4 today. What the fuck happened?
I'm currently. So if you're seeing what I'm doing with my computer, I'm setting up the global comics, like paneling it out for 3. But 4 was like. So I normally when you do the Kickstarter, it says like, oh, this will give at least 5 or so business days to approve the campaign. I've never had it take anywhere. It's normally like within hours. It's like approved. So I put it in on Saturday, and then on Sunday it went over. Nothing, but I'm like, all right, it's Easter, whatever. But I expected I would hear back today, and I did not. But
that's odd. Yeah, there are people, because I know there's indie comic guys in the chat because you're here. You guys should be subscribing to the channel. The Forest Pub. I think it's Richard. What's going on, man? How you doing, dude? Been a while since I've talked to you, man. The thing is, I will say this. When people say like, that narrative that was around for a while, when people said like, it was a caption that went like this: indie comic scene is better than the mainstream because of X and XY reason. I think that is utter horseshit, honestly. I think it's all the same. It's just different sides of a coin that you're on, honestly. After having experienced all this stuff, interviewing people, talking to people, it's literally all the same shit. The only leeway that I give mainstream people over indie comic people was really one thing. I'm never going to talk to those mainstream people. I can to be fair, if they say something stupid, I will criticize them. Obviously, we do that here on the channel all the time. But I'm never going to meet Scott Snyder ever in my entire life.
I mean, you could just go to the convention, dude. Like he's done.
Oh yeah, true, right. But it's just like there's because everyone in this scene is, to be fair, I think too close to each other. Where we're all so close to each other, it just becomes super weirdly parasocial and a lot of different other aspects. Yeah. With the mainstream stuff, I don't care, honestly. It's just you buy the books, you get them, you read them, you review them, maybe you talk about social media. That's it. People here are a little too close to each other. That's why things, I guess you could say, can't really improve, because we're just too close to each other all the time. People are looking for everyone's validation on everything. I could literally tweet, I don't know, tomorrow that I think this thing is a shitty movie. And I don't. I fucking love that movie. That movie's amazing. And someone will go,
I was going to slap the shit out of you.
Yeah, I was going to call you a dummy. But anyway.
And someone goes, well, my friendship with you is over. You thought the thing is bad. I must disassociate with you, and I'll never work on your company again. This can happen at any point during the day.
So here's one of the things I've noticed working with artist types, and this is just me being honest.
Yeah,
they're a volatile bunch, and it's not even just like literal like drawing, just artistic. Even people that are YouTube personalities, you get personalities like this and you're going to have tons of problems. And this is the case in the mainstream too. Don't get me wrong, but there's like corporate deadlines. There's money involved. Sometimes you have to get your ego in check in order to make money, right? Thing at the indie scene is someone can work on a project and then they could just like ghost. And what are you going to do? Hire a lawyer? I know you can't fucking afford that because you're indie. You know,
lawyers cost a lot of money. People don't know how much money lawyers cost. Even if you do the one where they don't take money up front to get the money back later, well, that's a lot of money too. It's just
that's the personal injury people that like say, if you fell down, I'll get money for you, and they'll look at your case. I mean, you ever try calling one of those people right now? Your case has to be really solid for them to do that because they.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I've known somebody who got in a car accident and it wasn't so they're like, well, we'll take the case, but you got to pay us. And they say, well, your TV commercial says you don't have to. And, well, no, that's if and they just want those open and shut. Actually, what they want is a case that the insurance company will settle real quick and they get their third of it and plus their fees, and then you get your 40% and for not doing much. But that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, like, one of the things about indies, you have to learn lots of.
Oh, you cut out there. You muted yourself.
Yeah, he's muted. Can you hear us?
Yeah, he muted himself. You're good.
So
Vaughn is so close to the camera. He's about.
I'm doing. I've been.
He's doodling.
No, I'm not. I'm like basically, if you go on Global Comics, it should be up soon. Issue 3. I'm just handling. It's pretty cool. You know how like digital comics, you can like. It like zooms in on panels and shit.
Yeah, I like that. That's a lot. I've been doing.
But the thing is, my artist has had a lot of like bleeds in issue 3, which is really good. It's the best art yet. But
Vaughn is so close, I can literally see his thoughts form in his head before he speaks.
But yeah, I mean, it's like with artist types, you have to be patient with them to an extent. Well, to an extent, but if you're paying them, sometimes you got to be like get it together, man. You gotta like really.
Yeah, artist people are weird. No offense to actual artists. I mean this offensively. You don't live in the real world. In the real world, there is this thing called deadlines. Every day you have deadlines.
You have to. That is a big thing. That's part of why I like. And I'll be honest. I'm not saying I'm perfect because part of my job is managing talent, right? But like, I generally make my deadlines, right?
Vaughn is gonna try and save money and use his forehead as a whiteboard. Like that would be a place that Diddy would love to use. But no, it's one of these things where artists
have to impose deadlines on artists. And I say that as like I'm talking to I love my artists to death. And here's the thing: whenever I know it's done, it's done. But like lately, like with issue 4, I'm like, we got to really get on it because issue 3 is behind. Because here's the thing: if this is like a logistical, nerdy thing, but someone's behind, and that can lead to like. Multiple people behind. I'll give an example of what happened with issue 3. I'm very transparent about like production issues, and I think people should be wary if something is behind and like people aren't being honest about what the issue is. I think that's a problem. Like I'm always transparent about why things are behind and whatever. So with issue 3, Lara's tablet broke. He didn't tell me, and I'm basically like telling him like, you got to tell me when things are behind. That's fine. Just tell me what's going on. I shouldn't have to, And again, I love this guy to death, but I was just like. Where are the new pages? Like, yeah, my tablet broke. I'm probably gonna have to order a new one if and I'm like, all right. So that led to things moving slower. And then he ended up being behind. And then because of that, it was supposed to be done before, like by the end of November. I think actually earlier November, right? Because of that, it ended up being done around like December. Now holidays happen. Everyone has plans for the holidays, so that means everyone's off for like I lose like a week plus of work. Then we get back in, and I don't know what his plans are, but like my colorist had like, hey, I have this amount of time where I can do this, but because things are pushed back, well, maybe it's pushed into an area where he's not as free. So now that adds more weeks, right? Then I pushes to my letterer, who was like, I'm ready to letter at this time, but now it wasn't ready by that time. So now. Maybe he's going on vacation or something. It's a domino effect, right? It's a domino effect. Then maybe the printer. Oh, well, I was going to print it at this time, but now there's someone else who has this spot.
It doesn't. I heard it costs more money. I heard it
The
costs more
fulfillment,
money.
like issue 3, because of that. The pre-press takes more time. Then issue 3 gets to fulfillment center. I'm fulfilling another book right before you're going to have to wait a few days. So all these few days add up to months.
Oh, no, I was just going to add to your point, because this is something that I've actually heard recently, that if you have a set time for a printer, if this is true, you can confirm if it's true or not. If you have a set time with the printer and then you have to move that day, do the costs go up or do they stay the same?
It depends.
Okay.
I'll give you a perfect example. Ready? This is another thing. Issue 3, because my artists missed the deadline and it was supposed to be done and the print order was supposed to be submitted in December. But because I couldn't submit the print order until I think January, just that small difference. There's the 2025 prices, 2026 prices. I had to swallow a bullet. I was like, so always raise extra money. Don't blow through all your expenses. Don't be like, yeah, I have all this extra money. Until the book is fulfilled, that shit ain't your money, dude.
So you're saying I shouldn't take my backers' money and gamble with it? And
absolutely
use it on crack
not.
So Vaughn,
the backers are the ones taking the gamble.
Are you a publisher, Vaughn, of comics or what?
Yeah, I publish my own stuff.
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm publishing another book by this hack named Bat Sauce.
Okay. Do you do the drawing and the art?
No, I'm the writer.
Oh, okay. See, I'm also a writer. I've written some books, and I know a lot of authors. You talk about how artists can be a bit off and weird or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of writers are very pretentious.
Oh, when I say artist types, I just mean that includes writers.
Because I know, like, I don't know. I've been in some groups with authors, and I don't know. First of all, I always get leery, and this is wrong of me, but you see somebody who has to put their middle initial in their book and be like, I'm Jonathan R.J. Coleman or something. I don't know, not Coleman, you're Coleman, but Jonathan R.J. Winston or something.
Yeah, well, often
we don't need your initials.
Sometimes it's cool, but sometimes it's because there's so many of insert whatever name.
That's true, but some of them get real weird, and and I mean, like I said, I was in a few groups, and they said, "Oh, I wrote my book, and I just think it's great prose and blah blah blah." And I compare myself to Hemingway, and I'm like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "I wrote a bunch of garbage just to see if I could publish it. What do you guys think?" It's like, I don't know. But then I know a lot of writers are just really chill. I guess because I come from the journalism field, and then it's funny. I never wanted to be like a book writer. I was only a journalist, and then once I became a journalist, I wanted to write books. But I know a lot of journalists who became writers who did books, and they seem more grounded, I guess, because how hard it is to actually make money as a writer. And
a publisher, fucking hell, dude.
Oh, dude, it sucks. And I know I've had 2-3 friends who've published their own comics, individually, and it's not easy. They had to find publishers. They had to get things done. It's just, and it's a lot of work. I mean, it's and they work their regular jobs. It's not easy. That's why when you work for the big companies, they demand it. Their deadlines be met because they got to get on the press. They got to get them out. Mm-hmm. And when you notice when comic books, people still complain about comic books from DC and Marvel, like, well, that was supposed to be out 2 months ago. Why couldn't you make the deadline? Blah, blah, blah. That was held. And they can't rely on that. So like, DC and Marvel need that out every month, and they got to get those books out.
Yeah, and this other thing that a lot of these retards in that sector keep bringing up, well, when Marvel and DC are late, nobody cares. That's just a lie. That is, go on any.
That's not true, dude. I remember people bitching when the last Ronin was late.
Dude, there was a Wolverine omnibus that's supposed to come out this week. This week we're doing this episode. It got pushed back to May. People were very mad about that because, keep in mind, guys, they pre-ordered this and they expect it to be delivered on that day. Crazy concepts.
This is another thing too that people don't. What's important about deadlines? You want money by this point. I'll give you another example. Issue 3 I was fucking panicking, dude, because I'm like, I have all these cons lined up. Every con that it wasn't there for is money lost. Because that issue 3, if you see the cover of 3, let me see if I have it. This is a moneymaker, dude. Like issue 3, not only does it help, even if it doesn't lead to a direct sale of 3, often people will see where the story's headed and they'll go,
that's an amazing cover.
I'll only get one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so
cool.
I'm telling you, my issue 1 sales even go up and my 2 sales go up because they see 3, even if they don't end up getting 3, which often they do, which is money. But this is an advertisement for what the series is going to become. So people often people will, the most bought issue is always going to be the first one. But even still, like that led to an increase in sales. And I was freaking the fuck out because I'm like, I want backers to be getting their books by the time like MegaCon rolls around and AwesomeCon. And I'm like, let's at least know that they're shipping out. So I've done everything they can.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, ideally, they would be in everyone's hands. But I get to a point where, again, it was supposed to be in people's hands in December. It's now April, but it was getting in people's hands early, or like shipping to people early March, right? Which wasn't ideal, but it was what it was. And I even said, I'm like, if you're a backer and you come up to the table, like you can get a free print, like as a sorry.
Yeah.
And so on. Like you always want to do right. But like as a business owner, making that deadline, like if I didn't have issue 3 in hands by the time I had that road trip I just did, or by the time I was in March, that would have fucking been especially because I printed for that quantity,
Yeah, you got to sell your product.
And so now I have books. Like I might have to do a reprint on one. I have plenty right now, but I saw how many I sold in March, and I'm like, if I sell that many again, I'm gonna need another printer.
That's true.
So,
yeah. I just don't understand where that narrative that comes from. But
bullshit.
This is where I think it comes from. This is my opinion on certain people. And keep in mind, I'm not lumping myself into this because, well, I read and review these books all the fucking time, every single week with people. So I will say this: when someone says a narrative about comic books that I know is not true, it's because, well, guys, people, in fact, a lot of us are actively interacting with this stuff pretty much on a daily basis, actually. And when someone says, well, Marvel or DC or Image or these people are, none of their fans bat an eye when their stuff is delayed. That's just not true. I don't even know where even.
This is the honest to God truth. People don't want to hear. People barely pay attention to indies as is. And this is the truth.
Yeah,
I've thought about this. We have more valid excuses than anyone to be late, right?
True.
What's the bottom line? The average person you talk to doesn't know what crowdfunding is, doesn't understand indie. They just know, I see it, I want it. When's the next one?
Right.
The fact of the matter is, you got to carry that on your cross on your back. I mean, obviously, I'm being exaggerating, but I'm making a point.
Vaughn's just is that a new narrative?
Yeah. and it's odd. It's like you have to kind of understand that that's just how people are. Like people read issue 3 at Lexington, right? People would buy. I remember I was at a one-day show earlier in March. It was the best single sales day I had at that point. It was great. It was this little anime show. This person comes up to me, and I remember, what was I going to say? I remember like this guy comes up to me. Now this is years of work. He goes, I just read all 3 of these. When's the next one? Like I got it now. I got to get the next in hand. But that's such a good sign when people want more, right?
Yeah,
when you give it all and people want more. Sign up for my email list is what I say. Get ready for the Kickstarter, and that's why I'm pissed that it was supposed to launch today because people are waiting on this shit, dude.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it doesn't. At the end of the day, it's not really going to affect it because the book is mostly done. It'll just be a little bit more done. So by the time it gets approved, I might have to adjust the campaign to say, the book is actually done.
Yeah. Do you believe in Phenomenova issue 4 getting funded fully?
Yeah.
Okay. Because how
well, here's the thing. So this is me being frank. I spent money and even took some money out because I wanted to keep the momentum I've got going after 3. Because I really know people are at this. Everything's starting to pick up. So I took a temporary hit for myself because I really firmly believe this is headed somewhere special. And because of that, I need to fund the printing and shipping costs, but I've pretty much squared away and saved money for the other costs and even bleed into 5 a bit. So I consider as long as things fund good enough or well enough, I want to bleed into 5 and then 6 and then 7 and then 8. And my website sales and all, if I start making so much of my campaigns that I can actually take some of that personally, great. But the point of my campaigns are whatever else I need to, whether it's art, which in the case of issue 3, I needed it for art and stuff, right? In the case of issue 4, I need it mostly to print and ship. And it's to do that, bleed into the next book, and then whatever else, like fulfill your stretch goals, and then whatever else I can do with that money. And then if I can keep them for myself, that's fine. But my goal is to make sure the product exists. And now that it exists, thanks to you guys help, you guys get your special rewards. Now I can sell it at cons. I can sell it on my website. I could sell it digitally. I could put it on Global Comics. You know, now that it exists and you guys get rewarded for helping it exist, there you go.
Well, there are a lot of hurdles, especially when you're independent, because you'll have a core people who like independent comics and will believe in them and try them. But then you have the mainstream people, and it's like this in publishing. I self-published, and I know a lot of, I mean, like I said, I've been in some groups with authors, and most of them are self-published. But then I meet these authors who are traditionally published, and they even tend to look down on self-published authors. Like, you weren't good enough to get an agent. You weren't good enough to get a publisher. And I'm not into the indie scene as much as I used to be, because I used to own a comic shop and I knew some independent people way back when. But there is that core audience that like it, but then you're going to have the wider audience who were like, well, it's independent. Can it be that good? It's not from Marvel. It's not from DC. It's not anime, or manga. So you got to overcome that stigma too, that it's not professional. That's what people think when they think self-published or independent. They think it's not professional. But I found, like, Motor City Comic Con is the Comic Con in my area that's big.
Yeah, I'm waitlisted there. So I'll go to two. There's two others.
I don't go to it every year, but I'll go there, and you go to Artist Alley and you see these guys set up, and they're all independent, and the art is fantastic. I thumb through books. I try to support them and buy what I can afford, but some of the books are pretty expensive, because when you self-publish, you're not getting this huge discount because you're printing 250,000 copies. You're printing, maybe what, 5,000-10,000 at most at a time.
Yeah.
You're not getting the huge breaks. So you got to spend a little more. And like, there was this guy that had fantastic art, and he had a graphic. It was a trade, and it was, I don't know, probably 80 pages. He wanted $50 for it. I just couldn't justify spending $50 on it. And it was good, but I was like, man, I can't afford that. So I bought one of his drawings instead for $20. So I wanted to support him.
Get ready for the MSK verse. I'm gonna write an omnibus level of story. That's what I'm gonna do.
But we had a comment from earlier, and it's not a thing, but it says you never met an author who acted weird. I've been to book signings.
Yeah, Pat said this. Yeah.
I've been to book signings and stuff, and for independent authors and even trad authors, and they're always cool. But when I'm in groups, like, that's when I meet the pretentious people. Like, some of them will, they put on their happy face for the public, but then on the side, they're like, my work should be I should be up there with Stephen King sales numbers. My rating's so good. And I just, whatever. I'm kind of more self-effacing. I'm like, well, my book sucks. So, it's like, but if you want to read it, cool. And they're like, well, no, you got to do this. You got to believe in yourself. I said, well, you got to believe in yourself, but you kind of sound like you're
oh no, he was joking only because on Twitter he gave
that was a joke.
He gave a few indie comic book people criticism on their stuff, and then they all just freaked out on him.
Okay, I get it now. Okay, sorry about that.
But it makes sense either way. Yeah. It's fine, because I feel like there are people that have been saying on Twitter, but if it's indie, maybe we should only just privately tell these people what is wrong with their stuff. But it's I don't know if that changes anything either, though. That person takes it so personally, it doesn't matter if it's public or privately. It doesn't change the optics of how they're gonna feel about their stuff. And I understand it too, because if you're investing a lot of time and effort into your own creation, of course you're gonna feel biased towards it. That's fine. But it gets to a point where do you want, because people will ask for criticism and they get mad at criticism for coming their way. It's just an odd thing, actually. An omnibus full of hi, I'm black, hell yeah, women are so stupid. Oh yeah, for sure, facts. How dare you have an opinion about by deathless pro? yeah. But yeah, it's just odd, because what I've noticed is some of these people got to understand that if you don't have a movie or a TV show deal with some of this stuff, or maybe something of a deal with any mainstream publishing company, not like books, but an actual movie company pushing you with marketing and everything, most people's shit, author wise, is just gonna, not get noticed though. That's kind of the
hard.
point though. Like people understand marketing and spending a lot of money on advertising goes a long way because that's how people see your stuff. Or if you are just so out there and going to cons and all that stuff, but that takes a lot though. So, and keep in mind,
it's a lot of effort to market your stuff. Yes.
Yeah. And then what's crazy is a lot of people don't actually get this when you're starting something like podcasting, content creation, creating your own books or whatever, whether it be comic books or novels. It's really hard to get people interested in reading that stuff. Like it's really hard. I don't know if people actually understand when they say things like, "Oh, it's so easy, I could do it." Go ahead and try. Knock yourself out.
Well,
you gotta have your mom and your sister reading it. That doesn't count though. So
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But I was gonna say, even traditional publishers, a lot of them now are demanding that you have already a pre-existing social media presence. I talked with an author once just through a Facebook group, and the agent and the publisher really liked her book, but they went on her socials and they said until she gets up to, she was on, I think it was Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, maybe TikTok. I can't remember which. There was like 3 or 4. And they told her she had to have at least 80,000 followers across 3 of her platforms. I think it was 3 or 4 before they would sign her because they want that pre-made stuff. And some of them, even from traditional publishers, authors told me they've been asked to present a marketing plan that they made and telling them how many pre-interviews they could set up to get interviewed about their books and what trade shows they can get to and what is their marketing like. And they're asking the author that they're going to sign. And this isn't these vanity publishers where you pay them to publish your book and maybe buy a marketing plan. This is a traditional that's going to give you a little bit of a signing bonus and then give you a cut of the profits. They want you to market it because the money's not flowing in like it used to with traditional publishing. So even that's gotten more self-publishing to it. Now, I don't know there's probably some big ones. And you're a big author like Stephen King. You write a book, they throw it out. That's all he does is write the book, deal with his author, does his rewrites. He hands that baby off when it's done. He didn't do anything else except, look at his bank account. But if you're a young author, or not even say young, but a new author, and you don't have a huge presence, they're kind of like, well, you only got 10,000 people following your social media, get that up and then we'll talk. Yeah. That's the hard facts now. And that's just the way it is because you can do everything digitally. And like you said, with movies, look at Markiplier. The guy he built his $60 million, I think it's almost 60 million now, that Iron Lung off of he has like 100 million social media followers, and they went to see his movie and he spent 3 million of his own money. And now he's walked out and he said he's going to take care of all the people you give him bonuses that helped him, but he's going to walk out with $20 million and no problem out of that. And he can do more if he wants.
Yeah. Because the thing is, what you just brought up there is if someone is trying to push something that you're making and they're asking like, hey, do you have X amount of followers on social media? People got to understand sometimes a lot of the followers you have are like bot accounts. They're like these scam dudes who pretend to be naked women like that.
Gosh.
People
that's half my Twitter followers.
People see like these Twitter following accounts, these big numbers, and they're like, oh, but those must all be real people. It's like, no, obviously not. I don't know where that even comes from. I guess they're looking at it just from a metrics point of view. That just looks good to see that, hey, potentially the impressions you're going to be getting out there on your tweets are going to be huge because it's all marketing. Like most like Stephen King, someone who is a known author, a very big author, had a lot of big books that come out in like the past. But I would argue that a lot of his stuff gets pushed even further because a lot of his books are getting adapted into movies. That's the bigger push there, because someone could go, well, I liked this movie based off of Stephen King's novel. Now I'm just going to go buy the book after watching the movie.
Yeah. And then they'll go, well, what else did he write? Or if he does his books that haven't become movies and they see 2 or 3 of his movies, they go, well, wonder what these other books are about. Yeah. And well, like Vaughn was saying, his issue 3 or 4, that's marketing for issues 1 and 2. Because if people are like 3 and 4, they're going to go back and buy 1 and 2 because they're going, wow, this is great. And I'm going to, I want to buy it. And then they're going to want 5, 6, and 7. So you build on your success that way. But it's hard, man, because you got to get the audience and then.
Good night, Richard. Have a good night, man.
Oh, good night. But once you get a base audience, it can build, and then the word of mouth is some of the best thing, especially with the independent scene. Like I said, I wasn't even going to go see Markiplier's movie Iron Lung, until I saw Film Threat talking about it. My friend's son, who's junior in high school, he's a huge fan because he's a gamer. You know, he's on his Twitch streams and all that. And he was bragging about the movie. Oh, my God, it was a great movie. I loved it. I really want to go. So I went to see it because he kept saying, we got to talk about it. And I'm like, okay. So I went to see it, and I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I thought it was a great effort, and I did like it. But
I didn't get the chance to watch that one, but I fully intended to.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's super awesome, but you can tell, I mean, for the budget, and I don't think he's ever acted in anything. He did a good job. The story was good. I had really, I didn't have any real complaints about it, but I try to watch indie movies. I watch a lot on Tubi because there's a lot there. But I do go into, I don't know about you guys, but like when you look at independent comics, and I look at those a little different than I would Marvel or DC, because Marvel and DC, especially from like the mid 2000s to late 2010s on, they're just like a content farm. And there's like, I look at Marvel comics now and they suck. I get the trades from the library and I can barely read them because they're so boring and the art sucks in most of them.
You can tell they're just writing for a trade instead of just writing for the single issue experience.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things. So I do want to make a trade, but like every single issue I do, I want you to get a full experience.
Yeah, these look cool.
This is worth what I'm making you pay for.
So what are these down here? So you're known for Phenomenova, but for people who don't know you, they're going to watch this on the replay. What are these down here?
Hold on, what are you looking at?
These
so that is, oh, thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm glad you're checking this out. So this is Phenomenova. The Land of Lawless is a 10-page short story. It's free to read online. It was a short that I did. I won a writing contest with that story. It was an opening scene for a screenplay I wanted to write / full comic book storyline, but it was self-contained enough. So that you can read online. If people like it enough, I'd love to make another comic. And then Bats right here, Bats Us in the chat is writing a book that's set in my universe called The Wraith Crown. In fact, at MegaCon, there's a Phenomenova issue 4 / The Wraith Crown #1 preview book. We only have, I think, like 20 of them left on my website. And then I'm about to go to a con this upcoming weekend. So if you want that preview book, definitely get that on my website now before it's too late.
Wait a minute. You're giving Bat Sauce, this Cloud Chaser, equity?
It's actually a good book. And I'm torn because I'm supposed to tear him down at every opportunity, but he wrote a good book. And
is that Bat Sauce's book?
Yeah. The Wraith Crown. Okay. So it's basically my world is a superhero story set 20 years after World War III. In my world, superhumans fought on both sides of the war. And the Wraith Crown is like a superhero fantasy story set in a country that lost the war.
That sounds cool.
And so Phenomenova is about is set in America where they won the war, but it's an area that was destroyed and then rebuilt.
That sounds interesting.
And so got issues 1, 2, and 3.
And what's this one? Reapers.
That is a horror anthology book. Bats has a story in there too. I have like 5 stories in there.
That's the one you're doing with that one girl. I forget her name.
Yes.
Allie, yeah.
We're doing a short story collection together. One of the stories is going to be set in the Phenomenova universe. So that will probably, as soon as Phenomenova issue 4 campaign ends, that will probably begin its campaign. And that was pretty much done.
Okay.
So you could sign up for that mailing list. But yeah, we got issues 1, 2, 3. And then also, if you join the Kickstarter for 4, that's going to launch literally like as soon as I am able. I hate that I'm not in control of that. But you can get physical and digital of 1, 2.
I was going to ask you, after Phenomenova issue 4 is done and it's in the backer's hands, I think you said you're going to do the first trade after.
I was considering it after 4.
After 4? Probably. Or not 5. So you think 4 is a good, like, nice little.
Well, because here's the thing. Initially, it was like a nonstop in the story, but I rewrote the script, and when I was rewriting it, I was like, "Oh, that actually kind of is a nice bookend for now." Because it was like originally it was like a cliffhanger, and then I ended up changing it, just not even necessarily to make it a trade, just to make the story better for that issue, make it feel more. And then I was like, "That's kind of a nice." So I'm considering it. Initially, that first story arc is 9 issues, but you can there's a clear like first half, second half.
Yeah. So what would you call Volume 1 though? What would like Volume 1 be called?
That would be, I think I'd call it honestly the title of the first issue, which is Lightning Strikes.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first 4 issues are Lightning Strikes, issue 2 Down to the Core, issue 3 Chain Reaction, and issue 4 Fusion.
Okay.
And then 5. You know what? I could just drop. Yeah, why not? I'll drop my current titles for the first 9 issues. 9, I'm debating between 2, but it's a 9-issue story arc. Then it's
I like Lightning Strikes for a first trade. That would make me buy.
That's issue 1 is Lightning Strikes. So they would be down. Then volume 2 would probably be Dark Cloud. So it'd be Dark Cloud for issue 5. Then Breaking Free, issue 6. Issue 7, Hail Mary. Issue 8. Shot in the Dark, issue 9, Let There Be Light.
Shot in the Dark. What is this? Section 8 housing? The Watts? Just jokes, guys. It's a black joke. Phenomenal issues.
MSK.
Issue 4 is launching hopefully soon because Kickstarter is blue balling you right now for some reason.
They really are. I'm so super. You know what's worse is like because early on I was like, does anyone actually want this book? You know, no one's heard. Now people are like, I love issue 3. Give me 4, and I'm like, I want to. I have done everything.
That's
I
a
need
different
to.
problem to have because it's crazy. It's you either have that problem where everyone wants your stuff and they can't come fast enough, or you have the other problem where no one wants your shit at all.
Well,
and your
dude,
shit
because
is
here's the thing: 3 is by far, in my opinion, my best one so far. 5 is whoo. 5 that I cooked with that script. 4 is good too, though. 4 was my originally like my in between kind of issue where it's like, yay, everyone meets, and it was kind of in My Hero there are power demonstrations. That's what it was, and then my editor was like, this is the weakest issue. It's still good, like in parts, but I took that and I was like, and I just now it's one of my better. Now it's like up there. I really like 4 now because I'm not going to spoil it, but I took my training stuff and I said, let's do something cool. Because 3, I had raised the stakes so much. So I'm like, I could either bring them all the way down or I could do something really cool with the training. And I decided to do that. And I decided to add more tension to the group. It's 4 is, I will say, the most fun issue so far. 4 is because 4 is we're going to go like right before we dive into the deep end, and 5 is going to be dark. 4 is kind of like a nice breath of fresh air, and it's like superhero, stuff before we get into a very dark place. But I don't want to ever do like doomer stuff, right? Like this is a very I always say in an age of deconstruction, this is a reconstruction, a reconstitution of the genre. You can see that Veek and Marion cover. Everyone liked it so much, I'm gonna do a hollow foil version. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna charge a lot, and people are like, I'll pay. I'm like, all right.
This one right here.
Yeah.
There's also I like it. Yeah.
There's a 48-hour cover. There's as well. There's going to be you can't really see that on the pre-launch, but there's a ton of stuff that's going to be on this campaign.
109 followers. That's good.
Yeah. It was like 70 something. I was like, wow, it really took a crawl. That's part of why I do think it's taking so long. Is because Saturday it was like, or Friday or Saturday it was like nothing, and then suddenly a bunch of people signed up.
Any other plans you have for the universe after? So you have everything mapped out, issues 1 through 9, and that's where you're kind of just focusing on right now. Okay.
No, but then I have plenty of plans for after. I just haven't had the time to really flesh them out and write them.
Yeah.
I want to keep going for. I have like an outline for what volume 3 would entail, what volume 3, but like I said, I'm writing for issues, so if it ends up being like this takes more time, we have to make.
I feel like when you launch the first trade, a lot of people are going to be buying that in mass. Honestly,
that's what I think. That's part of why it's like I want to make sure these covers are special. That you guys, if you really think Phenomenova has any potential as a franchise, you got to do it.
Got to hit the road. Have a good stream, boys. Have a good night, Milk Toast.
Take care,
imagine a world where we would see Phenomenova in Image Comics. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean that could be cool. That could be cool.
But I don't know if your stories would be told the best in 24 issues, right? Because you said you're writing for a full graphic novel style of storytelling.
What do you mean graphic novel style?
Because aren't your books about what 40 pages, right?
Not always. So all right, so this is the weird thing. Okay. So it was issue 1 was chunky. It was originally like 3 issues that I mashed together because I was like, I really want people to be sold on like, I need the next. So I felt like it needed to get a certain point where Dark Cloud shows up. And I made the right call because he was everyone's favorite character. Yeah. Then 2 was like meant to be the standard length. It was 24 issues or 24 pages. Then 3 was around 28, which was going to be my new standard. until I kept doing revisions. My editor gave us some feedback, and then I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm introducing all of these heroes and villains and having the actions. Let's give my artists more breathing room. So it gave him like spread, so we could do more like Jim Lee style, like really let the action pop. And so I ended up almost doubling that issue. And now I'm getting back to my standard with 4 is 28, and then 5 was going to be 28. All of the rest are going to be 28, except 5. I decided to add 1 extra page. The first 5 issues are technically going to be different page lengths, but the standard's going to be 28 pages. I wanted to do 4 extra. And New Teen Titans in the 80s was originally 24 pages, I believe, and they upped it to 28.
I'm going to buy that first omnibus.
It's so fucking good, dude. Well, I want to switch out my trades for that, but New Teen Titans, that's a big inspiration of mine. That
was your very first. That was the first comic book series you read as a kid that made you love comics, right?
No.
Or Titans.
Titans. No. It was when I was a kid, it was Batman Hush. It was a lot of graphic novels. I didn't really read a full series much as a kid. I'd read a lot of graphic novels, but the first one that really made me write it was Claremont's X-Men run. But shortly after that, I would read Stan Lee's Spider-Man, New Teen Titans. New Teen Titans is the shit, dude. It's so good.
I grew up. That came out when I was a teenager. You know what they brought in Changeling and Cyborg and Starfire with the Wolfman and Marv Wolfman and oh my gosh, I'm trying to blank. I'm old.
And George Perez.
Perez, thank you. That was a great. Is that the series you're talking about from the 80s? Correct? Because I know they relaunched New Titans later, and it wasn't as good. But X-Men everyone was big X-Men people. And everyone loved it. And that came out and challenged X-Men. And they did the Titans X-Men crossover, and that was really good. I actually have that somewhere. I got to find that. But yeah, that book was amazing. Everybody loved it. It was great. And then it just kind of petered out. I don't really recall.
That's what I heard is that it's like with Claremont's run, it was strong throughout. Right. Yeah. A lot of people say that there are points in Teen Titans because Wolfman wrote for about as long.
Yeah.
If not longer, I'm not sure. But people say after Perez, it kind of falls off.
It does. And then, if I remember correctly, I mean, that was 30 years ago. But yeah, it was everyone talked about it. That was in the comic books. We all, it was our favorite, Changeling. And it was Beast Boy. They changed it to Changeling for a while. Now it's back to Beast Boy. But they brought in Starfire, who was like the cheesecake. And Cyborg was great. He was one of my favorite characters.
Raven. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Raven. Raven was great. And then they brought in some of the old ones, and that's when they changed Robin over to Nightwing.
Yep.
They wanted him out as Nightwing to kind of step out on his own because he was so popular. And then, then they brought in Jason Todd first as Robin and stuff. So that was a great era of comics. And then it kind of went down after Wolfman and Perez left. But Claremont was doing so much great stuff. And, Byrne did some great stuff. And, then they did, they jumped over to Fantastic Four is really good under their run. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the 80s that was real good. And the 90s was good. And then all of a sudden 2000s hit. The 90s were starting to get a little shaky. The 2000s hit and it started going down a bit. And they started drawing everybody with huge muscles and everything was extreme. And Liefeld was doing the patches. And the Avengers went through the jackets phase where everybody in the team had a jacket for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
I mean, those books weren't terrible. I mean, actually, I liked them still, but compared to what they got today, those are like golden age classics. I can't even read comic. I get these things and I'm like, I can't believe they're putting this garbage out. It's so bad now. I don't know. I guess it's me, old man, yelling at a cloud.
No, I listen, man. I wanted this story to be like, the main characters basically are inspired by the superheroes that fought during the war earlier. It's meant to be aspirational and like those that came from the past. Everything's about tearing it down, and I want to build it up. Yep. I want to have a character that's like my main character. He's trying to be like those heroes, and he's fumbling.
Well, that's a problem with superhero movies now. Everybody's hero movies in general, like Star Wars stuff. Oh, you got to deconstruct.
You finished Volume 2, Bess?
The main hero. You gotta, we got to tear him down.
Are you talking about the omnibuses?
If you want to join, we're reading the trade volumes. They're on Global Comics, which my comic is on there too. It's a monthly.
Let me see. How much does that one cost? Probably only cost
$20. But if you get like an $8 or a couple $1 a month Global Comic subscription, it's like thousands of books. Phenomena's on there even.
Okay, give me 1 second here. I love the omnibus readings, trades.
But volume 2, we're gonna, because I want to get back to doing more YouTube content.
Same here.
We reviewed volume 1 of New Teen Titans.
Yeah, I would look. This thing is, I want to finish up the comic book reviews on my comic book channel and then do anything after that. So I have to finish up Deep Cut. I want to finish up Wolverine's Revenge. Then I want to finish TMNT Naruto last issue and the other ones. I'm going to get everything done first and then start new stuff. Because, I love reading comic books. We even just read through Batman issue 5 last week with Dingistan. Reading comic books is fucking, it's awesome. I love when I get to read, but it's like the longer reads that I actually, going from reading trades to reading single issues, I prefer reading trades. It's just a way better experience. You get so much out of trades, but you also understand in this kind of thing, there's money that involves this stuff.
I'd love to. Well, my goal is to get to trades, but like, what I want is like you guys get a premiere experience. You guys get the first appearance. And here's the thing too: my digital issues, the PDFs online, $5 per issue.
Yeah.
So I make it easy for you guys to get in.
That's cool. And the Teen Titans was actually, obviously social media wasn't around, but it was somewhat controversial at the time because they showed Starfire and Nightwing in bed together. Now, there was an issue of the Legion of Superheroes where they showed Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl in bed together. And that wasn't quite as controversial because I think that was after the Teen Titans thing. But obviously there wasn't the explosion on social media because we didn't have that. We didn't have the internet. So it wasn't a thing. But I remember going into my local comic shop and talking about it, and the guy who owned it had a parent come in, threw the comic book back and said, I want this money back. My kid's reading this comic book and you got, two characters having sex in it. And he's like, well, they're just laying in bed together. Well, you know what they did. And so he just gave the money back, but it was somewhat controversial at the time. And also in those, if you read those Titan books, when they go through the whole Starfire thing where she's sold into slavery, they insinuated that she was assaulted, sexually. So, that was another controversial thing at the time too.
Yeah.
So it was,
which is why it's weird when there was that whole controversy. Like I was just getting into comics at the time when Roquefort did that beautiful Starfire cover. He's killing it on Kickstarter, by the way, Kevin Roquefort. Mm-hmm. And they were like, you sexualized Starfire. It's like, what are you talking about? She's always been a sexual character, but it's because these people who grew up with the show.
Yeah,
they don't. Which I grew up the show too, but I ended up doing research, and I was like, "Oh, Starfire's all like she basically wore bondage gear, dude."
Yep.
Yeah.
And all the teenage boys. I was a teenage boy. Were like, "Yeah, this is great." So we were all for it. We didn't care.
My problem with comic book fans is they're just so retarded half the time. Like they don't understand that these universes that they love and enjoy. Keep in mind, I understand we have to have standards for some stuff. I fully get that, but you understand this is a fantasy world, and you should be able to kind of. I'm not even saying not touch on hot button issues or like a taboo topic.
Well, they did. They just don't like the way they did it because it's a problematic.
Like an Invincible, people are like, "Well, I don't like when they would watch the show and they'll be like, man." Omni-Man just killed a bunch of people and their blood's going everywhere and their bones are. It's like, well, yeah, this isn't your typical Marvel and DC comic book. I don't know why you go to a different comic book from a different company. You'd expect that to be the same. Like it's fucking retarded. That's actually crazy. And then people are going to say, well, everything's the same. It's like, well, you getting mad when they're different. So why attempt to do anything different though? That's why like the status quo when doing something different with companies are so weird. They're always like, well, I want something different. Well, different comes, but they don't like it. Not to be fair, I understand. It has to be written in a certain way where different can come off good. Because something that is just different, just be different, is just fucking stupid. There has to be a reason for it to exist. But it feels like there's too many fucking actual virgin nerds who read this stuff who don't literally get laid at all. Like they're actual losers.
Yeah, MSK. I'm sure you can't relate to that.
God.
Well, there was a lot of that back then. But the problem now is you get a lot of virtue signalers.
Yeah.
I noticed this like in Star Trek. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I've watched it all. And I don't know if anybody here in the chats watched Star Trek Voyager. And the show wasn't doing that well when they brought in Jerry Ryan to play 7 of 9, who wore basically a catsuit, the skin-tight outfit. Mm-hmm. It was there to add some sex appeal to the show. And the ratings went up. She was popular. But now I'm in a Voyager group, and people go, well, that's problematic. And that was blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, well, that saved the show because, people weren't watching in the first 2 seasons, and it really kicked it off and made it more popular, and it keeps the show popular now. And so, and you get a lot of guys who'll say, I love that show. And looking back, I feel bad.
I acknowledge that I did something wrong by enjoying media that was made for me.
Yeah. And I looked at her sexually because she was wearing this, now I know better. It's like, I've evolved. Like, shut up. It's like, dude, she was great looking. She was in skin tight outfit, and that appeals to people. And people are also offended, and they pretend. Well, I think they pretend to be offended so they can.
Yeah, they pretend. Oh my God, I for one am disgusted by a sexually attractive woman. No, you're fucking not.
Yeah. They'll say things like, "I am disgusted," and I disavow.
I am both shocked and appalled.
Oh yeah, that everything's problematic now. And that CBR, is it Comic Book Resources, or is it the other one?
Or it's Comic Book and CBR and Screen Rant and all those people. Yeah.
One of them
Dude,
comes
Screen
out.
Rant like totally went full blown. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, so one of them will come out with articles and they'll say, this is why this TV show from the 90s is problematic. And they come up with this stuff and you're like, what? Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Friends.
I have. I don't like that much. I think it's really overrated.
But I liked it. I watched the whole series. But Ross on there, he has an ex-wife who's a lesbian and she gets married to a woman. Mm-hmm. And I read an article saying how problematic that was because Ross didn't support that marriage. And he was supposed to support it, because it was a gay marriage. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. If she married another guy,
yeah, he'd be pissed.
He wouldn't support that either. Why? But just because it's a same-sex marriage, he has to support it or he's got a problem. And in the end, he actually supports it and he walks her down the aisle because her parents wouldn't accept her marrying another woman. But they're like, well, he didn't accept that. And they're upset about that. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Like, I have an ex-girlfriend and I see her with a dude. I'm not going to like that because, she dumped me for that. Well, she actually, in the show, she dumps Ross for this other woman. So
that pissed me off.
If you get dumped and you're not going to support that new relationship because you're going to be mad. But because it's the same sex relationship, you got to bend over backwards for it. You got to accept it. And if you don't, it's problematic.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm always one of those live and let live people. If two people of the same sex want to get married, hey, go to it. Do what you got to do. But you don't have to accept it, especially if you're, if it's your ex. It's if your ex gets married and your ex cheats on you with another person and then marries that person. I don't care who they are.
Yeah,
you don't have to accept it, but now everybody's got to look back and find everything that's problematic.
So for me, it's two things. It's like Robert Kirkman does this a lot, where he'll say like a lot of retroactive things compared to what was going on at the time. He'll say like, "Well, we didn't. It was just." I remember that one quote he had a long time ago when Invincible first came out. He was like, "Well, back then it was just two white guys just making a comic book," and it's like. You chose to work with a white guy. You could choose to work. It's weird how they'll say certain things like, well, back then I didn't want to do that. And it's like, but you never said, because keep in mind, some of these quotes these guys be saying, all of them, you can't find like a track record of that stuff. That's why it's virtue signaling. People don't understand this because if there's not a track record of you feeling different for a long time, it's like, dude, you're just saying this just to say it. Because if he was always saying this, like, hey, I genuinely made a mistake and it was years and years and years and I couldn't correct it, that's fine because we all have that, right? But if it's just like out of nowhere and you've never said this except at this moment in time, nah, fuck that. You are definitely virtue signaling. Because like there's no reason for the things you're saying, or they'll say things like you're problematic if you don't support this though. But then in not actually understanding to a certain extent, it's like, I thought you guys were always talking about people should be free to express themselves. I always tell people this. I don't probably gay people at all. It's just if you're trans, I don't really believe in that because I don't think a man can be women. Like if someone doesn't like that or accept that, why is that a problem though? I thought, but it's that same side who says you should be like expressing yourself. And you should be free to express your thoughts. But you don't like when people do that though. Because
they want the approved thoughts. Well, now there's J.J. Abrams. He came out and said, during the George Floyd riots and all that and COVID, he says, enough white comfort. And I'm like, dude, you live in a $6 million mansion. You got a couple of them. And, you get paid an ungodly amount of money to ruin franchises. So are you going to take some of your millions and go help a minority family that could really use that? Or are you just going to sit there and talk about no more white comfort? How about you give up all your money, all your property, and you live in some discomfort?
Dude, the same thing happened
You know?
with this artist that I think I had on my previous podcast. So he was like, "Come on, illegal immigrants and stuff like that," and he was like, "Yeah, I would let them stay with me." He's like, "Statistically, they're not dangerous at all." I'm like, "That's stupid. That's stupid to let a random person stay with you."
I don't care if they're legal, illegal, they're in this country. I don't care who it is. No one's staying in my house unless I know who they are.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they're safe.
Yeah, like what the
I'm
fuck?
sorry. I mean, if
literally said
somebody's
that.
in need, I'll give them some money. If they're really in need, they can stay in a hotel. But I'm
Yeah.
not bringing a stranger into my house.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
he
I'm not
literally
saying I
said
have
that.
anything worth stealing, but I don't want to wake up with a
They're always
fork
like,
in my eyes. Or
statistically, they're
something.
Yeah, I
not-
mean, your liver might be worth.
Yeah,
You know,
'cause
I
they-
mean,
yeah, because he had said like, well, statistically, they're not dangerous people. I don't care if that's true at all. They're not. Why would you invite a stranger to your house with your wife and kids there? That is stupid. That is
Yeah,
illogical.
that's like no survival instincts, dude.
I like through my church, we've had, well, my former church, we've had people come in and they were in need, and we didn't have, people weren't comfortable bringing their homes, but people would get together. We'd all throw money in, and there was some cheap motels by our place, and we'd able to come up with enough money to let them stay in a motel for 7 days or 8 days till they can get back on their feet, maybe get them a bus ticket they want to go somewhere, maybe get their car repaired. But taking somebody in your house you don't know is dangerous. And I don't care if it's a 78-year-old, man, or, a 5'1", 80-pound woman.
Dude, she
you
can
don't know.
poison you, dude. Women can be crazy.
Well, they could call somebody and let them in your house. I mean, there's all kinds of things. So no one's staying in my house, man, unless
Yeah,
I'm
because when he told me
100%
that on
sure
Facebook, because
who they
he's
are,
one of those,
man.
like, he's one of those weirdo TDS people, and it's like, hey, I don't care if you dislike Trump or whatever, it doesn't matter to me. But it's one of those things. It's like people lose all rhyme of logic in their brain. It's like he literally said, "Well, I would literally let this person stay with me because that's what a good person would do." No, that's not what a good person would do. That's not what any sort of dad should do. If you have kids that stay with you and you have a wife and you let a random person just stay with you,
did you ask him how many
yeah,
people
fuck
he's
no.
got in his house now? Because he could easily go find some and let him stay there.
yeah.
Like I said,
No,
no one,
first-
unless I know them. I even have friends of friends who've reached out to me, not recently, but in years past, said, "Hey, I got a friend," and I said, "I don't know this guy." I says, "You know what? I'll chip in $20. That's back when you can get a hotel for the night for
$20. Yeah.
Oh, I'd say I'll give you $20.
Nice. I've been traveling for conventions and shit. $20 for a hotel is like, oh, that must be.
Well, this is like the 80s and 90s, and they're not the most quality hotels or motels.
I don't give a shit at all.
But I'll help people out. But you can't let strangers in your house, man. I'm sorry, because like I said, you get. Like, well, my church does this thing called McCrest. It's the Macomb County Emergency Shelter Team. And what it does is they take people and they stay for 30 days in a homeless shelter, but it rotates between different churches and you set it up. And we do that. And we can't let people, they can have their cell phones, but we can't let people in. We lock them in after a certain time because, there have been cases, now it didn't happen at my church, but I was talking to somebody who works for the program, where they've let people in windows of a church, like a friend, to come in, like, because they weren't eligible for the program, maybe, or it was too crowded. But they've opened a window, someone climbing there, and that person ends up stealing or getting in a fight with somebody else, or somebody knows their ex is somewhere and they find where they are, and they want to come and get them back, and they come and cause trouble. So when you're dealing with strangers, you got to be real careful. You just can't let people do. I mean, it's nice to be nice, but you just can't let people. You can't be vulnerable, I guess is what I'm saying, around people. You got to be careful. So, yeah, I don't know this dude who's saying to let people in. You tell him what? Call up the immigration department.
It's one of those indie comic book creators.
He'd get 20 people in his house tomorrow if he wanted to.
Just a little insufferable. It's like, hey, I get it. You don't like Trump, but if you're a dad and you make decisions like that, I can't respect your opinion because you're stupid. Like, dudes are so dumb. I feel like feminist women aren't even like the dumbest ones. If you're a guy who's like that, it's the worst because they are just insufferable retards half the time.
I had a guy tell me, this is quite a while ago. He says if somebody broke into his house to rob him, he would sit him down to seriously ask him why he's doing it.
Dude.
And I said, dude, if someone's in your house robbing you,
he's not down for a conversation, dude.
Yeah, he's probably
reality.
he's not doing it to feed his family. He's not, well, maybe he is. I don't know. But you call the cops, get him out of your house. If you have to, you throw him out, or if you got a gun, you just point at him and tell him to leave. I don't know. But you just can't, like, that's not the time to do stuff like that. It's like,
dude, I was on a website where you talk to anonymous girls and stuff like that. This girl from Europe, she was from Italy, but she was visiting Europe for college, and we were having this discussion. She was like, my leader in Italy licks Trump's ass, and I was like, oh, okay, lady. She was like, I've always had these threesomes, and I was like, all right. And we had these conversations, and we got to a point in the conversation where I said, what if someone breaks into your house? Would you kill them? She was like, no, I don't think they deserve to lose their life. And I'm like, lady, if they're doing that, they fork that right over. You doing that means you potentially.
Dude, these people, they don't have survival instincts. People are retarded. You give them power, they will kill themselves.
Well, I don't think I could kill anybody unless they were really threatening me. But if someone came in my house, I have a few weapons hidden and a few in my room. And I would definitely get them to leave. And I mean, but they came at me, all bets are off. I mean, I don't know what I do. I mean, we had
a conversation about PDFs, right? And I was like, hey, if a guy touched a kid, do you think he should be publicly executed in Minecraft, allegedly? And she was like, no, I don't believe they should lose their life. And I'm like, this is the kind of girl
I would not trust a woman like that around my children.
That whole thing with the children stuff is so weird now, because I see so many people online are saying, well, they're born that way, and they're what do they call it? MAPS, minor attracted people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, maybe they are, but that's still a sickness. Like you can be born that way, but that's still.
You can be born with like really violent thoughts. That's a thing that happens.
I mean, I know people born, I don't know, maybe you're I don't know, but you still, even if you're born that way, it doesn't mean you can, pursue that. That's like, I was born to like women, doesn't mean I can go out and attack women or do anything I want to do or have 10 different women in my life. I mean, I guess if all the women were cool with it, and I was, but I don't know. I just, that whole thing, people just want to make excuses for bad behavior now.
For literally anything. Well, there you go. Well, how do you define bad? Okay, if everything is subjective, then why do you get to moral grandstand so much? You agree that there's no objective morals, right?
This is the same thing I was talking about on Twitter last time when I was calling people retarded and fucking stupid half the time.
As you always do.
It was like, okay, why do we have if we're not going to go by what definitions are, how can you define anything? Because there was an argument that went like watching gameplay of it was Resident Evil. I keep in mind, I've never played a Resident Evil game, nor have I watched gameplay. I'm just what the example was. People were arguing that watching gameplay of someone playing it is the same experience as playing the game. And I'm like, no,
it is not.
That is not. That is like when those retards last 2 weeks ago said, can someone be a comic book fan having never read a comic book? And I'm like,
no, you can't.
If you suggest otherwise, you're retarded.
Because you have to include everyone and everything all the time, because everyone is special.
It's like this weird like stan culture these people are a part of. They'd rather actually like something instead of actually engaging with it. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, if we don't define what things are and everything is subjective, then what's the point of saying that? Means anything could change on a dime. Like today, if I want to be a fucking unicorn, walk outside butt naked and get pegged by 30 different dudes.
What?
I guess.
You always get into these weird pegging and fisting.
Yeah, you mentioned that like a suspicious amount. I'm not going
it's a joke, obviously, but no, like that was an actual thing where people are like, can someone be a comic book fan without having read a comic book? And keep in mind, I'm not even saying you have to read every character's books. I'm saying if you read some stuff, it's fine. These people are actually arguing reading literally. I even say you could read a book a month. You could read a book a week. Doesn't matter to me. Read something. I don't care what character. You could read something based off Miss Marvel. I don't give two fucks. But if you're arguing you have to read nothing, literally zero attempt at engagement, that's retarded.
That's like saying,
what are you a fan of? If you're a fan, if you're not willing to take 2 seconds to read a single comic book, an issue's 24 pages.
That's which you can read in 5 minutes max, maybe. If you're going fast.
We're doing like a reason because the older ones used to actually take more time because they were.
There's a lot of expositions. Yeah.
Well, I think they were meatier too. I feel like you got more bang for your buck, but that's neither here nor there. That's a separate discussion. But
it's like easier now. The barrier of entry is easier based on what you just said. It's easier.
But if you don't care enough to engage with it, how are you a fan?
I never got that. Yeah,
it's like saying you're a fan of pizza, but you've never eaten a pizza. Like, well, no, you're
how
would
that work? Yeah,
I'm a big fan of. If you're a fan of something, that means you like it. If you don't like it enough to do it, then you don't. You're not a fan.
Yeah. So the way
you could be a I'm sorry, but I was just saying you'd be a comic book movie fan if you watch the movies and never.
I think that's
well, that's what they want to do. They want to be because they want to just not to like basically be able to gatekeep the fan base and say what they want and act like their opinion has equal value.
Yeah.
And then when you point out that they don't do anything, you're like, you're being toxic and you're gatekeeping. Fuck off.
I mean, I have friends who watched all the Marvel movies up until Endgame, and then they cut off. But they were fans of the MCU, but they never read a comic. But they would never go around saying, "Well, I'm a comic book fan." They
yeah, and that's how you would
the Marvel movies is what.
And that's how you would differentiate them. If you say you're a comic book movie fan, that is perfectly fine. If you want to be no one's saying you're not allowed to be. But if you say that means that you're a comic book fan, it's like no. That there's a reason why there's. People understand there's a reason why there's different words to describe something. That's why they're called adjectives, right? If you say you're a comic book movie fan, there's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't make you a comic book fan, though. But someone says, but I like the idea of comic books. That's cool. I like the idea of banging women. It's not that I do it every single day because I'm, a fucking virginless nerd. But
if you like the idea of comic books enough, you'll be able to read them.
It's not even that hard. People, hey,
I like the idea of Star Trek, but I've never watched it. So you know what I'm not going to do? Call myself a Star Trek fan because I'm not.
That's what they do. They're like, well, I like the idea. I think people will like the idea of being a fan of something.
Then fucking read it.
Why are you yelling at me, Vaughn?
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm just these people.
Yeah, it's just. But yeah, you're talking about definitions or talking about like everybody gets a medal or whatever you were saying. People think they're special. I don't know if you guys watched the new Daredevil series, Born Again.
No.
But last season, in the season 1 of the new the new update, they had a guy in there who got arrested for stealing fiddle faddle, which is that popcorn candy thing, caramel candy, corn. And they're making a big deal about it, and he's upset. And he says, well, I don't want to go to jail. And Matt Murdock was defending him. And Murdock says, well, here I got to, do this thing so this guy goes to jail for 30 days for stealing fiddle faddle. But what they don't point out was, they pointed out, but they actually get no big deal. The guy was arrested like 23 times, and he was violating his probation. So, yeah, he's going to jail for stealing fiddle because he's breaking the law. And it isn't just stealing. Like, if he would just never had any record or anything, and he stole a box of fiddle faddle, I could see not throwing him in jail. You make pay for fiddle faddle, you send him on his way, whatever. But the guy's arrested like 30 times or whatever it was, 23 times. And he that's not a deterrent. Being arrested and going to jail 23 times was not
Stop with the logic, dude.
Enough of a deterrent to steal candy that's going to get you thrown back in jail. And they acted like it was this big, like it was so in a tough system. And the thing that made it worse is because he was going to jail, he couldn't go file for his unemployment benefits or his welfare. So wait a minute. So not only that, you're going to jail, you're getting mad because you won't get your welfare. Well, stop stealing fiddle faddle, you idiot. But then they make the system look bad when he's actually the bad guy. It's just unbelievable.
This other thing that has come up with this discussion is, how do I say this? I think, what was my train of thought going with this? I'll try to put it together.
You tell us.
I'll try to put it together for idiots out there. Because when someone says someone's gatekeeping, well, yeah, no one wants to find. You would just end up with a bunch of posers around people. Like it's like someone who says, "Well, I like anime." What anime have you watched? Well, I've not watched any anime. I
like the idea of watching anime.
I watch videos on YouTube, and it's like, or they'll bring up another one. They'll be like, "Well, what if someone's disabled?" It's like, okay, but you're not disabled though. And keep in mind, I wouldn't be talking about disabled people like that anyway. Second of all, disabled people can still do stuff unless you're literally blind, you can't read, or you can't even see, or you can't hear. Keep in mind, when people bring up all these weird red herring arguments, like, well, what if someone's blind? But you're not blind. That's the key. You're not blind. You can use a cell phone. You can use a computer. Come on, you can even get this stuff for free, guys, on the high seas. So there's no real reason to not be interacting with it. You just want a reason to complain. That's the reason to be lazy, though. It's like these people, dude, last week, there was a conversation I had with an idiot. He literally said, word for word, because there was a tweet that goes, why are people not getting jobs anymore? And they're just like streaming on Twitch to like 5 viewers. And then this person literally said, word for word, have you been in jobs recently? That's like modern slavery. And I was like, bro, this generation's cooked. They actually think jobs are slavery. That's crazy.
Yeah, I got to do it with a woman before. She said making people work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week is slavery. And I said, well, she said we should be working 4 days a week, 32 hours a week. And I said, sounds like you need to find a job
As long as you get a job, yeah.
You can work 4 days a week. She says, well, I can't afford, to do that. And I said, well, so basically what you want to do is force somebody else to supplement your lifestyle, but you're not willing to work hard enough to achieve that lifestyle.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is put somebody else in slavery to you to support your lifestyle. She said, no. The system should be so you can afford that. And that's, maybe we could.
How would that work though?
But, maybe, but the problem is the whole economy is crazy because everyone buys on credit and stuff. But I just said, well, then you need to find a job that you can do it. And if you can't, somebody shouldn't support you. My friend told me that restaurant owners should have to pay a living wage to their people. And I said, well, they can't afford to do that. And they said, well, then they should do all the work themselves. And I said, well, if you think somebody should pay you a living wage for whatever job you want, open your own restaurant and do it, or open your own business and
this is
pay yourself and pay your employees.
It's always the analogy of looking at what's the analogy we had growing up?
I'm running a business right now. Like, dude, I wish I could. I can't even. I'm trying to pay myself a living wage right now. Dude. Yeah.
I wish, and I wish it was like that. And, to be honest with you, this is probably going to get a lot of people mad, but feminism really kind of hurt the job market because when that happened, and again, I'm not against women working, but you flooded this country with 50% more workers in about a 25-year span from the late 60s into the 80s.
Jobs more competitive because there's less jobs around.
And the salaries go down. And then the natural population growth, and then they changed so many of the rules. Like banks used to pay you interest on your money, and you could actually get a good return on your money on your bank.
Now it's too low. Now it's like 0.01%.
Yeah, and that's if you're lucky. Most of them, you got to pay them to keep your money if you don't have enough in there.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, dude?
It's stupid.
Some of these people it's a younger generation thing because they're always having these TikTok meltdown videos of like, why do I have to work 5 days a week? And it's like, well, keep in mind, because they're so stupid, they're not even simultaneously realizing the very thing that they're criticizing is what allowed them to have that life. Like, keep in mind, it doesn't matter if you were raised by a single parent, two parents, maybe raised by your grandma, uncle, doesn't matter. That system you're criticizing is what has allowed you to have a life you have. Now, whether it's been hard or bad, doesn't matter. That same system you're saying is slavery is what the person that raised you used to make sure you have the life you have right now. Yeah. And that same person is going to go, but I would never want to do that. Yeah, but the person that raised you did, and that's the reason why you have the life you have right now. So if that person didn't use that system, what the fuck would they be doing? Because they're sitting there thinking, I'm just going to become a famous Twitch streamer overnight. And it's like, that's just never going to happen. You know how random that is to become a famous content creator that can make money off doing what you're doing? Also, it's not even just making money off YouTube. People that make money off YouTube are making money through Patreons, Ko-fi,
and
members,
and
it's not even just stuff. YouTube itself. It's like they have editors doing all that stuff. It's just what is with these people these days? They're like, the guy literally said, why would I get a job? It's like modern slavery. How do you afford anything then? What?
Yeah. And that's we got all this consumer. There's too many big corporations screwing everything over, buying too many houses, which jacks up the price. So there's a lot of problems with our economy because we're not a true free market because the government gets involved. And there's a whole issue, but the problem is people are now thinking that they should just get I have a friend who told me we don't work together anymore, that every job should pay a living wage. So if you went to work at a gas station and you're a clerk, you should get a living wage. And I said, well, that sounds good, but then all the prices go up. So then you have to keep raising the wage. But not just that. If everyone's getting a living wage, who's going to do the hard jobs? Where's the incentive to do more? And he said, well, when you do more, like you're a doctor or something, you can make more money and there would still be an incentive. I said, okay, well, what about the jobs that aren't glamorous or pay a lot? Like, who's going to be the guy who moves around the outhouse or the porta potties to the festivals and clean them out? If instead of doing that job for a living wage, he can get a job, working at 7-Eleven, mopping floors and make a living wage. So you're going to have all these jobs that there's no incentive to do if you can do something easier. Now there would be a huge flood of people going to the easier jobs. So then I guess you'd be forced to do that. But then that starts another problem. Who's going to get the jobs? And then it's just, when you start interfering with the economy, you run into problems. And I think what you need to do is if there was total competition, then the people who really want to work hard will get the jobs and the companies will have to pay to get the good workers. And if you're not a good worker, you're just not going to make good money. I mean, that's just the way it's going to have to be. But now there's so much protectionism and so many problems. Like I said, with the banks, you could actually put money in the bank and live off the interest. And now, unless it's like $1 million, you're not going to be able to do that, because you're not going to get, I got one of my bank accounts, I get, was it 0.3% interest on my money. It's like, I mean, I look at the statement, I get 97 cents.
Yeah. And keep in mind, even if the employer were to pay you even just a little bit more, the prices of the inflation is just going to keep going up too. And
well,
you have to
live
keep
in California. Look at like $20 an hour for fast food people, and it
doesn't change. Nothing changes, honestly. It's just the same shit. Every time inflation goes up, wages go up. Everything is just the same anyway. So people are wanting this different boost in this type of way. It doesn't change anything anyway. Actually just makes things worse, because, inflation goes up, then, rent, housing costs, and bills and all that stuff goes up too. It's just,
Well,
good Lord.
I follow an Instagram person. I think it's called Eats with Kelsey. And I don't know, I found her page a while ago on Instagram, and she rates food and stuff, which is pretty good. She lives in California near LA, and she had people pick the food, like a sandwich from one place, fries from another, whatever. And she got a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and she ate it, and she goes, this was worth $18. And somebody in the comments said, a Chick-fil-A combo is $18. And this guy said, no, it's $18 for the sandwich, because she lives near LA. And everybody was like, there's no way a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is $18. The guy actually took a picture of the menu and went back and posted on her thing like the next day or 2 days later. And it was $18 for a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A near LA. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And he said they pay everybody there at least $20 an hour. They got to charge that much. I was like, jeez. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, 20. I thought a Whopper now is like $7 by my house, or $6.50.
Yeah, literally went to one of the supermarkets to get nut bread, because I love eating nut bread. Not banana, it's banana nut bread, not actual nut bread, because that would be gay and disgusting. It's like $6 just for this, and you only get 6 of them. Actually, crazy. It's just things. I just never got that argument. It's just economically illiterate people who just don't know anything, just spout just nonsense. If someone doesn't want to work because they think it's slavery, then what do you want to work for? Just turning on a stream and on a
they want people to take care of them. They want the government to give them a house. They want the government to give them food. They want the government to give them clothes. They want the government to be able to pay for their vacations, because they feel they shouldn't have to work. But if everyone gets everything free, who's going to be the guy cremating bodies and burying them? Who's going to be the person doing this? Who's going to be the guy unplugging toilets? Who's going to do the work to paint your house? It's just, the problem too is, when I was growing up, we had manufacturing in this country. In 1974, I think it was 54% of everything purchased in the United States was built here. And now it's down to like 17%. But those manufacturing jobs were the high paying jobs. Those people had the money, and they would go spend it at places, and their spouses could afford not to work, or they might get a part-time job to earn a little bit of extra money at a Burger King or a McDonald's, and their kids would do that. So Burger King could afford to pay most of their employees minimum wage, because they were just there to earn a few bucks. Now you got people doing those jobs that are trying to live off of them. And it's not a livable job. It's hard. I mean, you can make $16 an hour at Taco Bell near my house, but you can't buy a house on $16 an hour.
Yeah. What if I told you that in 1950, a janitor was able to be the sole house provider, owning his house as well? Yeah. Things have changed based off of a lot of different factors, because, was it because like all those fucking, what was it called? We don't have any factories here, because all that stuff is outsourced to
the manufacturing.
Yeah.
Manufacturing pays good wages, and that carries everybody else. And that, like I said, if you have a person in the house earning a lot of money as a factory worker, or a good amount, then the spouse and the kids can go get these part-time jobs and do things to help support the economy, but they can have some money in their pockets. But now, you got 2 people working, and they're making what one person used to make 35, 40 years ago. And the market's so flooded with workers that they don't have to pay anybody. Personally, I'd like a woman to marry me and take care of me and not let me work. So anybody wants to marry me. And
they do that now. That could be accepted now because it's all
I'll do
female empowerment. It's all female empowerment. It's like, okay,
I am a male feminist when it comes to me not working. So any woman out there who's interested, give me a call.
Just find a sugar mama that's like,
Halle Berry.
Hey,
I always say Halle Berry. I'm available. Just let you know.
I was just say, hey, if you believe in feminism, a woman could be the breadwinner and take care of you. It's like, all right, I guess.
I know a couple people whose wives make more than they do, and they work. The men work, but not or part time, and they do more in the home. I met a guy years ago when I had Detroit Tigers season tickets. The guy sat in front of me and my friend. He was actually the house husband, and his wife worked because she made a lot more money than him. But he took care of the kids. He cleaned, he cooked, but he also repaired the house. So when she came home, she didn't do anything. She'd tell me, she goes, I'd help with dishes after work, and that might be it. She goes, and then they had their kids do work because they wanted to learn their work ethic. But the grass needs cut. If the house needed to be reshingled, he did everything. And she really, he's like, hey, she's working 40 hours a week, sometimes 50. She's bringing home the money. I'm going to make sure she's taken care of. And he took care of the kids. And I said, hey, if that's how it is, because you can, your household. He thought we were going to look down on him for that. And I said, hey, man, if your wife's got a sister who's willing to do that with me, tell her to call me.
I just saw a video of a Latino hooking up with an old fat white woman. She put him up.
Wow. I mean, that's just great.
I don't know. Man, that's just down.
Yeah. I'm not good looking enough to get people to buy me anything. I did have a girl buy me a Batman shirt once who liked me.
Good
that
Lord.
was kind of cool.
Yeah, my ex bought me clothes one time, and then I was like, all right, I guess,
I did have a woman who liked me buy me a Batman shirt that was a size too small. So I had to take it back.
Fucking ex, she was like, why don't you want this Lakers shirt with Looney Tunes on it? Because that looks stupid and gay? It's like, what? That's what MSK is doing for a new PC. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not banging an older white woman for a PC. I already own the PC. I just haven't put it in yet. Now, I probably should install it. I'll probably install it tomorrow by myself.
Your neighbor's not going to have to do that, is he? Like he built your chair? You got your old chair back.
Yeah, I'm going to rotate between them. This one has benefits. The other one has. I swap them out a few times. Okay. I don't mind it. It's just this one has better armrests than that one does, but it just depends. Joe, tell MSK when
we got him last year.
Oh God. The thing is, yeah, James doesn't want to help me this time around setting up my new PC, so I gotta just do it myself. It's okay. But Vaughn has problem. It's crazy. Vaughn's just presence just makes people melt down. It's so cringe watching people. Yeah, they're like, why is he at this con doing?
Oh, dude, yeah, they're still, dude. Even I was just checking earlier because so I have them blocked every once in a while. I'll just see everything I do pisses Evan off.
I don't know Evan, so.
Oh, he's not. He's a formerly known. He's very much washed up. But he used to be a very prolific comic book creator. It's actually very sad.
Yeah, currently he has sex with Shane Davis, where Shane Davis pulls his pants down, bends him over, and fucks him in the ass. And he's so full of semen that he actually can't see straight.
I don't know if that's accurate, but
I mean, hey, I heard he had a threesome with him and John Malin too. In Minecraft, allegedly said.
I don't think any of that's true.
I don't think any of that happened. I gotta be
no, but he takes Shane's dick so far down his throat. I don't even know if he has an original thought these days anymore.
I think it's more the other way around. Shane's just kind of
MSK. You talk a lot about male on male sex.
You do talk it's suspicious.
That's what
that woman tonight.
That's what I'm saying. So hang on. He started out the stream by saying he doesn't want to talk about women. He's not in. He doesn't want to get married. He doesn't want to have kids.
And then he said,
"What does he talk about? Gay sex all the time." And I'm just
it's in Minecraft, so it's one of those.
It doesn't matter. It's in your mind.
Why are you
It's crafted in your mind.
You could feel with this woman you had over today. It wasn't clicking. Was it because?
Dude, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's talking about how he wasn't clicking with whatever 50-year-old woman. And you make it, and it's we're about to agree on something, and then you just take it in this really gay direction. And I don't know how to feel. To be honest.
Walter said, I watched your vlog shorts, Vaughn, for your contour. Great job, man. Looks like you had a successful run.
I did, contrary to certain people's beliefs. I did actually have a pretty good
ones that suck off other men on this group called CG. Oh, I think I realized why.
True. That's not true.
I think there's a reason why he's angry, and I'm not about you. You know, like there's marriages where like the women.
We've had this discussion. That's not what it is, bro.
It might be, dude.
MSK, you have this like cringe anti-marriage stance that I'm not gonna get behind.
I'm just pointing out the fact that he also could be very mad because his wife doesn't fuck him. Just pointing out.
I don't think that's it. All right, I don't.
It could be a contributing factor.
I think we're missing the point here, pal.
No, but I think if you're
MSK, we're so far off the market. I'm gonna have to. All right, so let's talk about the cons. Just anything to get MSK off.
Oh yeah. So yeah, fuck Ethan. He stop having sex with Shane. Stop letting Shane dump semen in your mouth. You fucking FAG. So, but yeah, you're actually going to a few more cons coming up.
Fucking hell, dude.
Joe's gone. I lost him.
Well, no, I'm here. I just had to. I want to put on some
Cleanse
chapstick.
yourself.
Well, I got to put some chapstick on. I don't want to do it in front of everybody because I really chapped lips today.
Oh, you're good. But no, we're gonna wrap it up here in a little bit. But you know, we had a great episode today. I love shitting on Ethan because he's fucking fat and retarded. That's what I do to fat and retarded people. I just shit on them. You know, hopefully he ends up. You know, I don't know. Bad things will probably happen. Who knows? Sucking dudes off behind pizza parlors is not really something that I do in my free time. But you know,
I can concur on this.
You know,
I mean, look, I'm going to be at Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Steel City Comic Con this weekend. We'll see how that is, and then I will be at Garden State Anime Fest, and then I'll be at Level Up Expo in Vegas, which is a pretty big show. So we'll see.
I was going to ask you about the Steel City Con. Is that run by a new person?
I have no idea.
From years ago, because I believe that's the con. There was a guy who ran it who went to jail for killing his wife.
What?
Yeah, there was.
I need to research these cons better, dude.
Well, that guy's been in jail for 20 years, 10 years. I don't know. What happened? The guy actually used to live in Michigan, and he had a place called Comics World, and I actually used to work for him. And his wife was shot in the shop, and I don't know how it was in 90 or 91, and then that was 19 years ago because I was 40. They reopened the case and they made a case against him, and he went to trial and he got convicted. Is it Primetime or NBC? Dateline has two specials called The Comic Book Killer, and I'm in both of them. Because I had to testify in both trials. He ran a con in Pittsburgh because that's where he moved, and I don't know if that's a Steel City Con or not, and I don't know if he owned it and he ended up selling it or whatever. If that's the one he did, I don't know. But yeah, it was a whole crazy situation at that time.
It sounds like a crazy situation.
Yeah, I actually worked with the guy. I went to conventions with him because I used to be in the comic book business. I had my own store.
Did you get any, in hindsight, is there anything where you go, yeah, maybe he was dropping hints that he killed his wife?
You know, I don't know. A lot of people, at the time, nobody thought he did it. And then after a while, people started thinking he did it. And her sister was going around telling people they thought he did it. And I think that the word got out and everybody was kind of like, yeah, maybe he did do it. So it was a whole,
did he give you any wife killer vibes?
No, actually he didn't. We got along pretty well. And I mean, I don't know. He didn't seem like a killer to me, but I don't know. You know, I mean, I knew the guy, but you never know somebody totally, I guess.
Be safe, Vaughn. Don't get murdered. That might complicate your ability to produce new comics for a little bit. I heard you have to wait 5 years for quality. See, like if Vaughn takes another 6 years to release,
dude, I'm literally doing work right now on this stream. Like
that's crazy.
Look that up real quick on the.
Yeah. Hey, if anyone says it takes 5 years to produce a book, you're just lazy and fat. That's just all it really is.
I mean, here's the thing: if it does take you that long, because it really takes a lot of time, then you certainly don't have time to do nonstop drama streams.
That's true. MurderCon sounds great. Holy mother of God! Yeah, apparently, you know, this person had a lot of things funding out there, but you know, is only now just doing draw streams. I was told by this person that draw streams were boring and that no one should do them because they are not.
Also, streams talking about comics are boring. Apparently, we shouldn't share in the love of this medium.
We should all be just talking shit about each other. I should be saying,
yeah, that's really good for business, by the way. Really,
yeah, really professional.
Post the Rippaverse drama was something to see, dude, in person. It was something.
Yeah, you also got a chance to meet Eric July again, I think.
The literal Antichrist, Eric July. Yeah. Dude, I will tell you this.
Was he
when
black?
I first met Ethan, he was alone at a bar. It was like no one wanted to talk to him, and then I went over and talked to him. When I first met Eric, I literally had to wait for over like an hour online just to talk to him.
But I heard the Rippaverse doesn't have fans. I heard it was just.
I had to wait online. The first time I met Eric. This time they let me like cut. But yeah, no, he has fans.
Yeah, it's just crazy. All of the because keep in mind, I was hearing what the person was saying. I heard draw streams are boring. You shouldn't do them. I also heard that Rippaverse has no fans. I also heard that Vaughn is a part of a group called Dungeoneers, which is like something that is made up. Also, hell yeah, it sounds kind of cool. I could be in a dungeon. That sounds fucking awesome. Holy shit,
dude! It wasn't that cool. I got to be honest, but I'll wear the label. I don't give a shit, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm really broken up about being called a Dungeoneer. Really
this person
hurts.
Also lost a lawsuit. Actually, is because I remember he also said he pays a lot of money to keep the label Comicsgate. Which
dude,
has,
it's like, dude, if I could tell my 7th grade self who's reading Green Lantern Rebirth, like, hey, the guy who drew these pictures, yeah, he's gonna whine about you in your future for like hours on like what?
I'm you from the future, Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn, don't meet that artist that you're a fan of. What?
It's just crazy.
Just trust me, dude. Don't.
Because I want people to understand, just this person launched not just many campaigns, he launched all these comic book campaigns, and it's now actively on stream drawing them. That means all of these months and years prior wasn't drawing anything. He was saying art takes time and quality.
Well, if art takes time, then chop, get to work, puppy.
Yeah.
Writing takes time, so I don't do when I'm working hard on there is a direct correlation between. I'm not saying this is always the case. Sometimes you just get streaks, but like oftentimes when I'm writing or doing a lot of work, I stream less.
That's true. Yeah, it's called fucking hell. There's an old saying growing up. It's called nose to the grindstone. You just kind of just lock in and just get it done. Yeah. If you want to get your comic books out that are late, you don't get the luxury of streaming. You lock in and do your work. There's people that are literally staying at their jobs like 12, 14 hours a day to get things done to make sure
I'm only streaming now because
get a little bit of downtime. Just a little.
Even then I'm working. I've been working this entire stream.
Yeah. They always said your forehead can fill up something. Yeah, I just don't get it. All criticism too. It's like, well, when we get criticism, he can't do refunds now because it's all people that don't like him. It's all gay ops. So people that have been asking for refunds for months.
So here's the thing: I don't have to worry about that because I don't take that long to fulfill my books.
Crazy. That's a crazy thing.
5 years.
But 5 years, quality makes no difference, right? Oh God.
I was just Googling it. It wasn't the Steel City Comic Con he was involved with. It was the Pittsburgh Comic Con. So.
Oh yeah, that's I don't. Does that still exist?
I don't know because he went to jail. So
I will also say, make sure you guys go and follow Lord Raptor Jesus on Newscast. That's the best EFAT stuff about how fat and retarded those people are. Just pointing out. Yellow Flash too. Yellow Flash is oh God.
Yellow Flash. We hung out for a while. He was nice.
Shut up.
All right. Vaughn, I think I'm about to. On my. If you got anyone here has Global Comics, I'm gonna drop it on. I might even drop it tonight. Phenomenal Wage 3 Global Comics.
Are you gonna stream tonight? Or are you just gonna go to bed after this?
No, I'm gonna pass the fuck out, dude.
Oh God. So yeah, talking to me wears you down. See, that's what I do. I make people put out quality conversation.
I mean, it's also almost midnight, but okay.
Yeah, you live in the East Coast, Vaughn?
Yeah.
He's in Michigan. No, Vaughn's in like New Jersey
or
something.
Not in fucking Michigan. I'm in New Jersey.
That means he's the Jersey. He should go to the Jersey Shore. You could be the next.
I'm from Michigan, man. Don't give Michigan a hard time.
I'm not giving Michigan a hard time.
No, you should be the next clavicular. You should go to the Jersey Shore and party with.
Is that where he's from?
Or Joe? No. I was saying you should.
No, I'm from Michigan.
You should go to the Jersey Shore and just bang a bunch of new chicks. Actually,
I'm not doing that, dude.
Go hang out with. You guys are old enough.
I've been
old enough to know Snooki and the.
Yeah, I am. I'm old enough to know that. Yeah.
I could not, if I wanted to forget them. Those fuckers, they were like all they talked about in my goddamn state. Like, oh, do you know Snooki? You're from New Jersey. Do you know Snooki? No, I don't.
Also, from your state, people go behind pizza parlors and blow other dudes. Allegedly in Minecraft,
Yeah.
if you support Ethan, you're a fucking loser. That's my opinion. But we're wrapping up here. Outros.
Yeah, I don't know Ethan. So Ethan, I don't think you do all those weird things MSK was saying. So
and Mike, I do think
dude, MSK, if this guy probably doesn't even know like what's going on in this, and you're just throwing him in the deep end.
I'm just pointing out. I think he has sex with Shane. I think he's gay. That's my opinion. But Vaughn, anything planned coming you would like to let the audience know about?
Yeah, so I'm going to be at Steel City Comic-Con this weekend. I'm going to be launching Phenomenova issue 3. Make sure to go to my website, check it out. Issues 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I'm so close because I was doing the issue 3. Yeah, I apologize, guys. I should.
Oh God, man. But and after issue 4, you said you're most likely going to do the first trade.
We'll see. But for now, yeah, issues 1, 2, 3 are on my website. 4 is going to be launching very, very soon. So if you guys want to check that out, we got physical and digital. I'll give you the links. Sign up for Phenomenova issue 4. If you back from the first 48 hours, there is a special cover. And the better it sells, the faster we can move to later issues.
Your launch stream, when is the launch stream happening? It's pretty much as soon as when you're allowed to, get
I mean, I'd love to. I was hoping to launch fucking tonight, but the universe decided that's not happening. So if it can, then tomorrow. And if it can't tomorrow, then the next day.
Oh, are you still doing that? Oh my God, I forgot to ask. I'm sorry, this is late. Are you still doing that book with Theo or something? You're supposed to do like this short story with Theo.
We'll see. I mean, I'd love to. The short I can fix it. Right now, I've just got so much on my plate, but I definitely would like to.
Vaughn is so close. I'm reading Phenomenova issue 5 from his mind as we speak. It's great.
I mean, you can tell how good it is just based on looking at me.
MSK will review Phenomenova soon. Yeah, it's just like when Thor will show up in the Avengers at some point. Joe, what do you got planned coming up? You would like to let the audience know about?
Speaking of making deadlines, dude, he's going to review issue 1 by the time we're like 3 trades in.
Well, MSK works by his own schedule, so Yeah, I don't know.
He backed my book, and I literally lost money.
I was one of the first people to back issue 2. I was day 1, issue 2 backer. I can say I
Wait, so you backed both? You haven't read either of them?
What do you mean? I'm black. I don't read. The fuck?
Oh, yeah, MSK. Black people Lord. Read. Once again, I have to stand up for women and minorities.
If Joe next week, Joe should bring a blue wig and a nose ring. So he can be on their side. If Joe starts coming here with blue hair, okay, he voted for Kamala Harris.
Well, I'm for normal women and minorities, not weirdos who things like
good
that.
Good shit, Vaughn. Keep up the good work. Yeah, and
your stuff looks good. I'll check it out.
Thank you.
I want to let people understand this. Comic books take a lot of time to do and money too. Like if I would just hypothetically, if I wanted to get into comic book making, a 24-page floppy could cost $6,000.
Oh yeah, easily.
Wow. It could cost more. That's one thing. The minimum is $6,000. So when people are saying all these things, keep in mind, even with Ethan, even though he's fat, retarded, gay, and ugly, I will always say this stuff does take a lot of time. I will fully grant you that.
Oh my God, it does. It costs money, dude. I'll tell you this. Like I'm basically just starting to make money. You have to sell at a good volume. Like I'm selling. The word of mouth has been really good. Like people really like the books. That's one thing that's been very helpful.
People... And it's crazy. Mugen Lord, he didn't get the funding goal for his Vampire Killers, Variant Killers issue 2 book, which sucks. But it's just the kind of market we live in now. There's not like backers used to be plentiful some years ago, but now it's just a lot of people are more like I would say. Let's say a lot of people that would want to back this stuff are, keeping their money close to their chest because, they can't trust people. They've been burned before. And just, when a lot of people are burning people, then it just hurts everybody else. MSK is into comic books. Hey, I love this stuff. MSK hasn't read Horsey Man yet. I read the first one. We reviewed it. There's a video on the channel. Well, not this one, the other one, but Savage Dead. I haven't talked to him in a while. We have to get and do stuff together. Not gay stuff, but
I was thinking that
you and your gay.
I was not thinking.
I'm just making sure I put preferences out there. So yeah, it's absolutely crazy what's going on. I would say for the indie comic book Twitter space, just think about it like this: all of this bullshit going on. I just find it hilarious because I'm just in the sidelines just looking at all stuff going on. I will just say it's probably way worse long term to show how your company's just nonstop involved in drama than the other alternative.
Way worse.
Getting stuff done.
Dude, I've had people ask me, like, dude, why is Ethan always bitching about you? People have no knowledge of this space.
And that fat,
ugly,
that Clipper guy who literally had sex with a monkey. That Clipper guy. What is his opinion? Should mean nothing on anything. Why is he talking about you? This is so weird. A guy who lost his autistic girlfriend to another guy.
Like, whatever, dude. This is not important. What's important is that Phenomenova is.
No, I'm not kidding. This guy who has a micro dick.
I know.
What?
I know all.
Stop talking about dude's junk, dude. People are gonna start wondering.
Oh my god.
Let this guy live in peace. He wants to be with his girlfriend.
Are you gonna watch the Mario?
Well, no,
movie?
don't let that guy live in peace. You can fuck off. But yeah.
If these people die I'll be honest with you. If people die
I'm not gonna say that.
No, okay, I'm kidding. In Minecraft, but no, I don't really have any. I will say this, I don't have any real interest to watch the Mario movies. It's not that I don't. Who knows if they're good or bad?
What the fuck was that topic change?
WZ asked me a question. Are we gonna watch the Mario movie?
I do want to see it.
I'd rather go on Netflix and watch the latest Shark movie because Shark movies are coming out, and I
didn't see the first one, so I won't see the second. But I heard it's pretty crazy.
I'm more of a Sonic guy. The Sonic movies are good. Sonic 4 is coming out next year, so can't wait for that. Hopefully Amy's not sucking off Sonic the entire movie because that would be cringe and gay, honestly.
Why are you like this?
No, if she's literally like, hey, Sonic, I want you to put your
that is who, no, they're gonna do the opposite.
Please,
you're cringe and you're advocating for feminism. If you're advocating, that is the character. She's like, oh my god, Sonic. That's literally what she's supposed to be. And the feminists like you are trying to change it.
Yes, I must put on blue hair next week when we do the show.
Holy shit, I was close to the camera. I wasn't even looking. All right.
You were kind of like, you're getting real
God.
close. I don't know.
But
I
yes,
don't know. It's kind of crazy. Are we doing Thursday? MSK?
I don't know.
Well, dude, I did plenty of. I disavowed MSK a lot. So
I will let you guys know what comes up. Even you, my work schedule is. I can't say yet. I'm pretty sure I'm working Thursday, but I'll have to let you guys know.
I will say this: as much as I knock MSK, dude, he has a comic buying audience that watches his show. Like, I will tell you, I consistently, whenever I go on his show, I get backers or signups. I've only gotten one this stream, but that's because I don't know.
And keep in mind, now you have Joe. He's gonna buy all of your stuff, and then he's gonna be like, "Wow, this guy's a hack," and they're gonna have drama. See, that's what I'm gonna do. Buy all this stuff, call him a hack. This is crap. 8-hour Vaughn cast. We're gonna call it Vaughn cast. Just an 8-hour cast.
Tear out each page of the book, tear it up, throw it at the screen.
Vaughn Coleman, fuck my wife.
This is terrible. That Ethan guy's way better than he is.
Actually, you know that albino mask of like the person crying but they're smiling? That's what you gotta wear on stream.
Is he albino? I always just thought he was white because it's just the simple art style. I never thought of him as albino.
That's true.
Did you? That never even occurred to me.
Me neither. I'm
well, I mean, it did though. It literally just did.
It's a 200 IQ I have. I'm so smart that normal humans can't process how smart I am. The information that I've been ingesting.
MSK, I think it's about time you wrap it up, dude.
So,
we're going off the rails here.
Okay, Reed Richards. Oh my god.
Okay. I have Council of MSKs coming up soon. All right. So I have podcasts and game streams coming up. And thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. Make sure you guys go check out Phenomenova issue 4 when it launches on Kickstarter and RebelOasis.com. And we'll see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody.